Do you like Devil May Cry? No? Okay, how about Resident Evil?
That was too close. You were almost a Jill sandwich.
No? Really? What about Street Fighter? No? Alright, I'm just gonna list some games and you tell me when I've hit one. Beautiful Joe, Okami, Strider, Ace Attorney, Mega Man, Ghosts and Goblins, Bionic Commando, Darkstalkers? How about Marvel? You know, the Avengers, Spider-Man. I'll even take MODOK at this point. If you said no to all of these, then you're a lost cause. However, if you said yes to any of them, then let me introduce you to...
Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Get ready for the fight of your life!
Fighting games, oh fighting games. I've never been good at them, but this one kind of blew me away at first. The absolute very first thing that stuck out to me before I had even started playing the game was the sheer number of characters and the series they represent. It's kind of overwhelming. The newest Mortal Kombat had 23 characters at launch and is slowly adding more. Street Fighter 6 only has 18. So how many characters does Marvel vs. Capcom 3 have for me to say that it's overwhelming? 30, 40. There are 50 characters to choose from. There's 25 for Capcom and 25 for Marvel. That's a lot. The only game that I know of that trumps that is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate at 76 characters without DLC. As for Marvel vs. Capcom 3, each game that has multiple main characters has at least 3 representatives. Street Fighter has Chun-Li, Ryu, and Akuma, and Devil May Cry has Dante, Virgil, and Triss. Some series only get 2 reps, such as Ghosts and Goblins with Arthur and Firebrand, or Mega Man X that gets Zero and Tron. Technically, Zero gets X as his alt skin, so there are 3, but I mean, that's just like an outfit. Some series only get their mascots as their representatives, such as Okami with Amaterasu, or Ace Attorney with Phoenix Wright. Then there's some series that break the 3-character limit, like Resident Evil with Jill, Nemesis, Chris, and Wesker. And if you want to get really technical, Street Fighter has 5 reps. On top of the ones I've listed, they also get Hager, who originated in Final Fight, and Crimson Viper, who has never been playable in a Street Fighter game. And that's just the Capcom side. I haven't even talked about Marvel side, which has recognizable names such as Iron Man, Wolverine, and the Hulk, and names that only die-hard Marvel fans would know of, like Nova, Dormammu, and Shumagora. There's a character for just about anyone. The next high point is the music. Each character gets their own music.
Get ready to see some punishment!
This game definitely has some flaws, the most glaring of which being the skill ceiling. This game isn't necessarily difficult to pick up. You can battle your friends by using the basic light, medium, heavy, then special combo. Some characters' specials won't catch after the heavy, but for most characters that combo will work. And once you're in the air, all you have to do is repeat that. That's like the very basic combo in the game, but there's so much more. If you look into the game, you'll start hearing foreign terms like advancing guard, OTGs, mix-ups, confirms, wave dashing, bolt cancels, THCs, DHCs, DP inputs, Team aerial combos, team aerial counters, teching, quarter circles, and half circles. Now, if you actively play fighting games, most of those terms should sound pretty familiar. But if you don't, I probably just said a bunch of gibberish. Most of those are required to even attempt to play semi-competitively. And if you're starting from scratch and learning the game these days, it'll take some real dedication and determination to even try to match the best of the best, because most of them have been playing since the game came out. Up next is the characters. Now you may be asking yourself, what's this guy talking about? He just spent like way too much time praising the characters, and then I say yes, the roster is very complete, but it isn't balanced. Some characters are just blatantly better or worse than others. Characters like Virgil, Doctor Doom, Morrigan, Nova, Phoenix, Dante, and Wesker are just flat out better than the majority of the roster. And characters like Phoenix Wright, Nemesis, and Ghost Rider have the opposite problem, being worse than most of the cast. This game is an unbalanced mess at higher skill levels.
Could this be a comeback?
And finally, the ugly. And today we're going to take this very literally because the first stop is the graphics. I wouldn't say this game looks awful, far from it, but it definitely isn't a modern day Picasso. It definitely has its ugly moments, like this, and this. And don't forget this one. This one's my favorite. Maybe ugly in moments, but that's not why you're here. You're here because you want to pit Marvel and Capcom characters against each other. If you want a pretty fighting game, may I suggest Guilty Gear? Next up is the X Factor. Before playing Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, I had never seen a feature like this, but there are plenty of games that have it. It's a comeback mechanic that grants more damage and higher speed. It can really help some characters or absolutely break others. Its timer scales with how many characters you have left, so if you have all 3, you only get a few seconds of X Factor. If you have 2 characters, it'll last a significant amount of time, and if you're on your last character, it is enough to sweep someone's team. The last thing goes to the team structure itself. Now, there are other games that do this, such as Dragon Ball FighterZ, having 3 characters do a team. Mortal Kombat 1 uses assists. In fact, most Mortal Kombat games have had some sort of tag-out game mode. But for some reason, it took way too long for me to get a hold of the 3-character teams. Something about having to learn 3 characters was weird, but it can lead to some really interesting combos through making use of tagging out and assists.
What a way to end a fight!
As for my closing thoughts, this is a really good fighting game. It can be really competitive, and you can make some really interesting teams and really have fun with it. If you like fighting games, I would recommend trying this game out. But if you don't like fighting games, I'd recommend passing on this one because it isn't going to change your opinion.